Hello everyone, and welcome back to some more of the Let's Play of Her Story. As you can see, I have been searching, trying to figure out what these clicking of her fingers are supposed to mean. We found out what it was. It was relating to the knock code, which is also called the tap code, according to my research. I found out what the messages mean, but I'll make a separate video that actually discusses what that was supposed to be all about. So anyway, I have a few more terms that we can try and search for. First one being her cat. She said they had a cat when she was a kid.
We loved our cat, Domino. He had this little bell around his neck to stop him from killing birds in the garden. And we used to write each other notes and put them in the bell, and we could send them to each other. Mum found some of the notes once, and she thought I was just writing to myself because our handwriting was identical. And we had our own words for things, so she didn't quite understand them anyway.
So, is that usually a thing with twins? Do twins usually have identical handwriting? I don't think that happens, right? But she mentioned that they put messages in bells, so maybe she'll mention it somewhere else.
Okay, you got me. I'll confess. We were there. It was a dirty weekend. Simon was going to expense it, pretend it was a business trip. I used a made-up name. We stayed at the hotel, had room service, didn't leave the room, had a great view of the river, and you could hear the church bells. Like you said, it was very romantic.
Oh, yeah. That was something else I was going to search for. What was it? They said that he, I had it written down. Crap. Okay, I'm trying to... Okay, so he, did something about, so, let's see, Simon in the hotel. Okay, so, yeah, that's right. They had a romantic trip, and she said it was, he put it on some, like, expense account, right? Romantic. Yeah. Romantic getaway in Oxford time. So, he worked for Oxford, I guess, so. Ahaha, yes.
There was a conference, something to do with double glazing, in Oxford.
Okay, so conference on glazing. Awesome. Making progress, everyone.
Are you sure? What would he be doing in Oxford if there was no conference? I remember calling him. He said it was boring and he spent most of the time at the bar.
Okay, wait a minute, so... no conference, then? I don't... This might just pull up the ones I wrote conference on, but yeah, okay, it did. Yeah, so... That's what she's talking about, conference. Okay, so... Also, something else I learned was, there's this thing down here. I poked around a little bit. The thing I read that told you about it told you this. Oh my goodness. Oh my god. Okay, so what this says is all of the reds are clips that I have yet to watch, and all of the greens are the ones that I have watched. So I've only seen like half. About. Oh my goodness. That does no good. I think I've searched for that already, yeah. So I don't really have anything else to search for. I should have created a more comprehensive list before we started here, I apologize to one and all that I did not get more words written down. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I feel so dumb. I'm gonna make a little cut here, and then we'll come back when I have more words to look for. Okay. Hello everyone, and welcome back. Okay, so I was looking through the things I went through and typed up some stuff, and I found out that like my whole thing is circling around the idea that Simon was having affairs on Hannah, and that is what happened. And I never like went through my search terms. They show you all the search terms here if you click here, like all the things you search for. Even though that glare really is a bad spot, that's a really horrible spot for that. But I never searched for affair before. I don't know why, because that was the whole basis of my motive here. And so now we're going to find out what the affair angle would have got us.
An affair? Simon wasn't having an affair.
Okay, that was next to useless. Style of affair. Okay, sure. Why not?
You're reaching here. Oh, I don't know why. No, I've never cheated on anyone. I've never taken anything from anyone. Simon is dead. But I have my baby to care for. Why are you trying to make me sad? Why are you so obsessed with sex and affairs? You cheated on your wife. Is this your thing?
Okay, the big thing there seems to be sex and affairs. Yeah, on this particular day, she seems really, I don't know how to phrase it. She seems like really out of it, almost like her behavior is really kind of bizarre and kind of out there to me. I don't know. She's way over defensive about everything. I wonder if the mental walls are starting to crack down here. But she seems to make a big deal out of sex there, and okay, so yes, apparently that is well, we're going to start talking about sex now, everyone. Let's all be adults, be mature here, and yeah, have a discussion.
Really? You're going to ask me about my sex life? I mean, isn't that private?
No, it is not. Sex is private? Nah. No, not to the police. I guess private. We can search for private here. After that, that might give us a little bit of something.
Are you married? How is your sex life?
That's a good question, Detective. Why don't you answer that? Defensive about sex. Yeah, she, that's a fairly normal reaction to most people, I think. I think we usually make that kind of thing a private enough affair that anyone poking into it for any reason is kind of met with resistance.
So, our sex life is probably fairly average for a couple after 10 years of marriage.
That's just sad. Don't settle for average, everyone. Go for extraordinary every time. Just make everything wonderful.
No! You're talking to the wrong person if you think I'm some kind of slut. If you think I'm the kind of person that would have had sex with all those guys.
Hey, you probably should have been talking to Eve. Not a slut. Sure you aren't. I believe Eve was the slutty one of the two.
No. I was 15. Carl was older. 17, I think. I was really into him, regardless of how he actually behaved. Lots of drunken teenage sex. We did it in a church once. It's stupid. So he got tired of us and we split up after about 6 months.
It was sad, but those early experiences, they help you realise who's really important to you, you know? Family.
Interesting. That's true. That's true. That's a good way to look at it. Teenage. I'm not gonna fling. I'm gonna type that. I'm not gonna have anything on my computer that's titled teenage sex there. That probably would be a bad idea. Anyway. Okay, so out of that, we got a couple of more terms that we could possibly look into. She seems to be really big on privacy. So, privacy might have a deal.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I'm quite a private person and I didn't want to get into the detail of the argument.
I forget if I searched for argument before. I want to say that I did. We'll go ahead. Detail of argument. We'll go ahead and search for argument, but I'm pretty sure I've looked for it before. Because I think they discussed it at some other point. Yeah, okay. So I've watched all the videos that pop up here, so it's obvious that I have searched for that before. I can't remember, guys. It's been several days between doing these recordings. Okay, so carrying on with this fair sex situation. She seemed to deny being a slut. That didn't help any. She mentioned Carl. I don't... Oh, wow. She seems to talk about Carl quite a lot.
Was he my first? No need to be so coy. No, he wasn't my first. That would have been Carl. He was a local boy in a band. He was a bit of a shit. But he was sexy. We were 15.
Okay, so 15 might be something we can search for later. So first time with Carl. Okay, it's not actually a description. It's just what it is. So yeah, I think this is Eve pretending to be Hannah at this point. That's my working theory at the moment.
Family. So Carl fucked off, and then there were other boys here and there, and then Simon.
Yep, Carl sure did. I'm not quite sure why they are getting into her sexual history at this point. I wonder if they must be trying to work the affair angle too. So they're just asking her anything about their sex life whatsoever. Maybe that's it.
Differences? She's a better driver than me. She passed the test for us. I tried to take it and nearly crashed the car. Learned that you can't rely on confidence to get you through everything. She is the shy one. She was especially shy around boys. If Hannah liked a boy, I would have to pursue him. It was that way with Carl. Hannah met him first. She had such a crush. I let him take my virginity after a night that his band had played at. It got difficult. When I was with Carl, we would have sex, but Hannah couldn't let him see she was a virgin. She had lots of excuses. After a while, we decided that I should take Hannah's virginity. It's not that different to a bruise, pulling a tooth, a graze. We used a hairbrush. After that, we took it in turns, though. I was always the one who seduced the boys. Until Simon.
Aha, so yeah. So that does tie into Eve seduced. Okay, so that does tie into the idea of the fact that I wonder if Eve wanted to be in that position, or if that's just what happened. Like, she became the one that had to be the sexual one, even though she didn't want to be. I wonder. And I also didn't know this before. I don't know how I didn't think of it, but snake and apple tattoo, and then the other one, the one personality is named Eve. I don't know how I don't know how I didn't click in my head. The snake, apple, Eve. Oh my god.
Hannah was so smitten with Simon. She started getting jealous, didn't want to share. Even the first date, we went to see Tom Cruise at the Old Odeon. We both went, kept changing places in the toilet. We only had one best dress, so we had to keep swapping clothes. Must have thought we had terrible bladder problems. The next date, it was my turn. At the end, I let him kiss me, but that was it. We didn't want another card on our hands, and the Ouija board had said to hold back. After that, it was Hannah's turn, and she slept with him. Broke the rules. Deliberately broke the rules. She wanted to be the first to sleep with him. I mean, that's when she got pregnant. From that one time.
Wow. Okay. Oh, there's a person's face again. Okay. Pregnant first time. That sucks. That is most unfortunate. First time gets pregnant. But so it seems to have been the case that even from the beginning they were kind of in a power struggle regarding Simon. But oh, well, I heard a beep beep. What does beep beep? Oh, what is? No. Okay, so apparently SB wants to know when we're done. So I guess we'll keep this chit chat there. Yeah, I wanna at least finish the terms that I have written down here. Maybe we can. What did we just search for? I think we just searched for caller, right? We can figure out if we want to leave. That was weird. Am I done? No, I'm not done. Okay.
Let me see. Yes. I drove in here because I remember well I went over the river. And then there was a church. There. Yeah. And I probably parked. Well, I remember seeing a street sign called Princess Street. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure it must be this one. There.
Very nice, thank you. Very good of you, Hannah, to draw a map. I'm not quite sure what you were going for there. But I'm going to go ahead and search for Princess Street. Maybe that is irrelevant. It sure is. Princes.
It's Rapunzel. The story starts when she's born. Mother Gothel, a witch, takes Rapunzel from her parents and keeps her locked up in this tower. Rapunzel gets pregnant by the prince, and Mother Gothel is furious, so she cuts off her hair and throws it. Actually, her hair's already short here, so that's already happened. But she throws her into the wilderness, and Rapunzel is reunited with the prince, who's blind, but she kills him with her tears, and so it's a happy ending. Is that too much?
Why was that even a topic of conversation? Rapunzel? Yeah. Story. Why was that even a topic of conversation? I'm very confused why they even brought that up. Like, did she just have a picture of Rapunzel in the house for some reason? Or a storybook of that in the house for some reason?
I don't know if anyone really changes. You just become more yourself. Simon was my prince, and that hasn't changed.
Aww. That's so sweet. True love. Of course, until, the murdering. But, up until that point, he was the best.
And the Glaziers. I worked there some weekends and Simon had a part-time job there too. That was Eric's generosity. He was always good at helping out other people's children. Simon was quiet, more thoughtful than the other boys. Even then, he had a sense of craftsmanship. Wasn't always rushing stuff. Boys that age are just running around like headless chickens most of the time. Plus he had that look. He looked like a fairy tale prince from one of my books.
He sure did. Simon looked like a prince even. He's just everything princely about this man. He's apparently the most wonderful person in the world.
There were always princes and princesses. They were the special people, more important than the other characters in their stories. We knew we were like that. Twins. Magical. We were the princesses. We had a poster of Princess Diana from the newspaper up in our attic. Had a pride of place. And underneath we used to put all our special things. When her engagement was announced, we were obsessed with everything she did. And later, when her life went so bad, we felt for her. Her divorce last year just kind of drew a line under things.
So, I forget exactly when it happened, but I guess this stuff is supposed to be taking place before Princess Diana's death, because that would have probably been also mentioned at this point. Worship of Diana. Okay, so obviously Princess Diana is important to them, so let's just look for Princess and see if that doesn't pull up something. Yeah, 7 entries, so we might have to narrow that down.
Yeah, we were 17. It was a nice wedding, people said. Simon looked very handsome in the photos. His parents paid for everything, but he's an only child, so it was important to them. It was what they called a shotgun wedding, but if you looked at the photos, you couldn't tell. The dress was beautiful. It looked like Princess Diana's. The train wasn't quite as long, though. There's a great photo of the bridesmaid helping to carry it out of the car.
Okay, description of wedding. I have a feeling that I might be, with my user tags, I might be screwing up some of these search results, so hopefully we can find everything.
We were obsessed with fairy tales. Not just the pretty, pretty ones, but the traditional ones. They were dark and real, bizarre and violent. Felt like life. We had this huge old book that I think Mum must have bought from a library sale. The illustrations had thin tracing paper over them to protect them. They were in colour, shiny plates. At the front of the book was an index of illustrations. We read that more than the actual stories. We'd read aloud the captions and flip between pictures. There was something intimate about peeling back the tracing paper, undressing the pictures. Rapunzel's hair is cut. The eagle plucks out his heart. The princess pricks her finger.
Okay, so vague sexual metaphors, I guess. Very bizarre. I guess child's first sexual experience of the book, I guess. I don't know. It's very bizarre. Okay, so no. Okay, so no. I didn't. I think we're good. I didn't look for multiple princesses though. Yeah. Okay. So more than one gets us a result.
Fairy tales. Stories about lost princesses, evil witches, magical mirrors, and lost children. So you see, even before I knew the truth, I'd found it in those stories.
Truth in stories. Okay, I wonder what she meant by that, like, unfortunately, the truth about how horrible life is, or something, maybe? I wrote down drunk for some reason, because, there's lots to talk about being in the pub, so, I mean, drunk might happen.
The parents decided there would be a wedding. And after the wedding, Hannah moved in with his parents. There was no way I could follow, so we were separated again. I stayed in the attic. It was hard. It's like I suddenly didn't exist. I would sneak out, but in case anyone recognised me, I started wearing a wig. Hannah and I would meet up in the park. I was trying to get pregnant, but I couldn't. I mean, I couldn't do it with anyone we knew, so it was sex with strangers, drunk guys I'd met in clubs, parks and alleyways. I was 17. It felt like I was being punished. But it was Hannah who had betrayed us. I had to stop when one of the guys gave me an STD. When we met up, it was disturbing. For the first time, my reflection, she didn't look like me. She was fatter, flushed. If anything, I was getting skinnier. I found it hard to look sometimes. We talked about what to do. Was it time to become our own people? I mean, that seemed like the right thing to do, but neither of us wanted it. We agreed that her and Simon would get their own place as soon as possible, and then I could move in. And that was the plan.
Okay, so we believe we have a little bit of... Did I spell that right? I always spell that word incorrectly, I think. It always looks wrong to me anyway. Anyway, we have a little separation anxiety here. It seems like even when they become adults, and it seems like it's time to drop the facade and just leave and kind of start letting everyone know that you're your own people, they were still trying to keep up this facade of them being the same person, to the point that where she was desperately trying to get pregnant with anyone she could, just so the two of them could pass off as being each other, which wouldn't really work towards the later stages of pregnancy, because at that point, you know, by the time you find out you're pregnant, you're quite a ways along, so Hannah would have to start showing and have a different belly than Eve would have if this was the case. So I don't know. This is all, of course, talking as if they were two different people. If they're the same person, then she said that Hannah looked like she was getting more flush and full, and Eve was getting thinner. I wonder if having the child and maybe having like a full life was kind of diminishing the Eve character. Something to think about. That's kind of my thoughts on it. She seems to emphasize family being really important quite a lot, so let's look up some family stuff.
Florence was a warm, kind person, but she was broken, I guess. When I found her diary, I also found a biscuit tin with other stuff in it, older papers, letters, that kind of thing. Her story wasn't there. I never really spoke to her about it. I was far too young to really understand. I guess I just put it together later, once I was older. She had loved children, planned to have a large family, but her husband died in the war. And that was back when you married for life. She never felt like she could marry again. Isn't that strange? She was a widow from her 20s. But, I mean, I guess it was different then. You know, you married for life and she felt she could never marry again. I guess it was harder, a war widow. One of the dead. I don't know, maybe there was more to it than that. I don't really know.
You know, it could have possibly been, just gonna throw it out here, maybe consider it a little bit, could have just been that she just loved him a lot. Although, since this is Eve speaking here and we know her history with men, I guess the concept of a love like that is probably not within her I guess experience base.
No, it was just me and her. Eve was the name they were going to call their first child. They talked about it and were going to try when he came back. Florence's family had a history of firstborn girls, so they were convinced it was going to be a girl. It's hard to know if this is all true. These are stories I remember, that I read when I was a child. Maybe I misread, maybe I misunderstood. Sometimes it's hard to remember what happened last week.
That tends to happen when you not when you're sharing the body with another personality. So how Eve got her name, I guess, sure. Okay, so Florence seems to be coming up a lot here, so I think it might be worth. We're getting a lot of just the Eve, last day Eve stuff here.
Florence took me home with her. Mother hadn't been expecting twins and had a healthy baby. I guess she was just happy for Florence to clean up. Take away the evidence that this was anything but a happy occasion.
Oh, that's the face again. I can't quite tell from the face, like I can't really even really tell if it's a man or a woman. For sure. Anyway, so I'm really confused. Oh yeah, that's right. They thought that Eve was stillborn, so they just wanted her gone and pretend that she didn't exist. However, with my working theory, she didn't really exist, and this is all very confusing.
Florence raised me in her home. I never left it. She kept me out of sight. It wasn't odd for people to see a midwife with a baby, carrying in supplies, washing nappies, that sort of thing. I never knew any different. I grew up looking out of my window and seeing her across the road. I thought it was like a reflection in the mirror. She was me.
She sure was. Yeah, every time that happens, it seems to be that stuff happens for a reason. I wonder if like seeing the face is some kind of indication that I've like found something out. I just really wish I knew what it was that I had found out. Anyway, so that seems to be the Florence stuff that's new. She keeps talking about her having a diary, so I'm sure the diary plays out. Oh, this is way back in the beginning.
No, he doesn't keep a diary. That's my thing. I've kept one, well, as long as I can remember, since I was a girl. It helps make sense of my day. And when you're forced to put something into words, it just gives you perspective. Everyone's on the same page.
Plus, when you have two personalities who are trying to behave as if they're the same person, it helps, I guess, if you write down shared experiences that both of you should know about, I guess. I don't know. Hannah's diary, sure.
Just became our way of life. We would swap places and take it in turns to do things, and we were very careful. Whoever had been out that day would come back and write a detailed diary so that we were on the same page. We had a list of rules that said what we could and couldn't do in any given situation. It was exhaustive. We lived a second life through those rules. Rules for things that could only ever happen inside our imaginations. We would consider all the permutations of future events and agree rules to walk our way through them.
I don't know, I'm being stupid. Don't worry about me. So, rules seem to be a big part of this. So let's see if we can get a little bit more about the rules. Okay.
Okay. She's being chased. They're trying to catch her because she did something bad. I guess she broke the rules. Or maybe they think she did something bad. Maybe it wasn't her fault. She looks scared, not guilty. Maybe it was mistaken identity. Did they catch her there? I don't know.
That seems awfully close to your own situation there, lady. Life metaphor, I guess. Yeah, the whole situation there about what she was saying there seems to exactly reflect her own situation. Also, I guess she kind of vindicated me on the last clip we saw before, whether she's talking about the diary, where the diary was used as the mechanic for them to be able to make sure that they were telling the same consistent story from day to day.
It lasted about 6 months. I tried to carry on, but everything was different. Hannah insisted I not pretend to be her around Simon, let alone sleep with him. We didn't share him like the others. The rules had changed. Me living in the attic had become weird in a way it hadn't been before.
Yeah, because you guys went from sharing a life to her having a life without you, and you know, since you were pretending to be her, when she wants you to stop pretending to be her, suddenly, where does that leave you? Just a lonely person in the attic all by yourself, unfortunately. This is all very sad and depressing. I don't know if I feel bad or what. I don't know.
A long time. We got married when I was 17.
Yep, sure did. Thanks for that delightful thing. I knew that already, but whatever. Thank you. Okay, so I think I'm going to leave it here for the moment. We have quite a lot of more stuff to search up, namely things regarding regarding fairy tales and things. I think that is the main things to be looking at next. Rapunzel, Rapunzel, the witch, the fairy tales, all that stuff. But we will leave that till next time. We had quite the enlightening day. Let's see. We got the chit chat come up here, which seems to be, if I can just make a kind of guess, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, it seems to be like this is the you're done with the game, leave thing. That's what it seems like. If it says, "Are you done?" and if you say yes, I guess that means leave. But I don't think that is quite what we want just yet. I still want to examine some more stuff. Besides, look at that. Oh my god. Holy crap. We are so far from getting the whole story here. Yeah, we're so far from getting the whole story. Holy shit. Anyway, that's enough for me from this one. Next time we will start searching into the fairy tales and maybe a little bit more stuff. I will see you all then.